Thank you, sir. I'm going to talk about actually a kind of very complex and vast issue. But when I was thinking about presenting this, I thought this is not really the real audience because of the strategic orientation of our participant. But after Sandy and Neelam, I think we have more reasons to listen to disasters. So my topic is about regional cooperation, humanitarian affairs and disaster relief in South Asia. My plan is actually, the agenda is to explain kind of three chapters. One is a case study of country case study of South Asian tsunami, focus on Sri Lanka, and then also talk about South Asia as a vulnerable region for disasters. And then I'll talk about how and why we should cooperate with the region. How long I have? This is actually, I can go up to half an hour, but maybe 20 minutes. Am I allowed? Okay, country case study. I wanted to talk about this for several reasons. First of all, I was personally kind of not really affected, but I was experiencing that on the ground that time in 2004. And also, this is the first event which encouraged and also attracted me to disaster management as a subject. So I started writing and studying about disaster after that. And not only that, now South Asian tsunami, even though this is focused on Sri Lanka, is a very good example of how a country, without paying much attention before, after that event, how can enrich or learn from that experience. Not really all successful lessons, but country paid much attention to disasters. So South Asia can also learn or get some experience from this experience. So there's a connectivity to other countries also. Now, you might have seen a lot of pictures and videos those days, but this is an interesting picture showing that wave hitting southern coast of Sri Lanka. And this shows the original sea as original, but this is after the first wave, how sea went back about 1 kilometer. And then you see 1 kilometer sea gone back, and after then it came the second wave, and then a lot of destruction happened during the second wave, which is bigger. I'm not audible enough?
Yeah.
What can I do?
Hey, he has been asking you to go up.
Yeah.
He's jumping and
Sorry.
it's a machine.
I just want to make sure the video
Okay.
gets you.
Okay, so you can see how damage has happened. It shows the areas affected. It shows number of deaths. So you see this area, this district and south is more affected than other districts. And this also shows number of displaced people. You see the same regions are affected more than other districts. Now, when you look at tsunami as a very quick, very rare event, you see the huge destruction in terms of human lives, displacement, as well as property damage. Now, why? There are a lot of reasons why this destruction is so high in magnitude. First of all, we were not prepared as a country. The tsunami itself is a natural disaster which has very high casualty ratio compared to, let's say, hurricane or other forms of natural disasters. So there are a lot of reasons, but the timing, unpreparedness, lack of awareness by people are the main reason for such high scale of destruction. And observation just after tsunami, what we saw is government was not prepared. There were not enough sufficient institution arrangement to deal with such kind of damage or destruction. And also, you see, Sri Lanka now, should not forget that this happened during a wartime. So there you saw a lot of political parties, Tamil Tigers, Sri Lankan governments tried to use tsunami as a political campaigning or bargaining tool. And also there were a lot of complaints about corruption and lack of accountability in managing and distribution of donor funding. Plus also, as people who were living in the country, we see a lot of chaotic situation in terms of coordination, communication between affected parties, government agencies, and international organizations. However, government took control over reconstruction in a very phase-wise planned manner. short-term, long-term, focusing on rehabilitation and reconstruction. A lot of awareness building in terms of nation building. It was actually that time was kind of unifying mode. We were like saying that, okay, tsunami, we can build our nation again. There are a lot of programs in the schools, awareness about tsunami. People didn't know what tsunami was that time. And these are a lot of literature done in all languages about educating how to prevent, how to behave in a tsunami. And the most important thing is there was a development of legal aspect as well as framework for managing tsunami. So there was a disaster management center was established in 2005. This act passed in the parliament, and now that we have a permanent ministry also managing disasters. And there was actually a strategic plan prepared for 2001 to 2012, which was not really completed, but those initiatives happened now as a result of tsunami. Now, if you look at overall assessment by 2012, so relief actually was done by individuals, non-government organizations, non-state sectors participate. Government anyway managed to do rehabilitation and reconstruction work sufficiently well. Now there are criticism and there are some, there's some incomplete work, but I would say it was done very well compared to a country or small country in that nature. And also tsunami was a main eye-opener about Sri Lanka as a disaster-prone country, because meaning of Sri Lanka is actually blessed land. So we thought originally Sri Lanka will not be affected by earthquakes or tsunami. So this was a real eye-opener to be prepared. So lessons learned. There are several lessons about disaster management in general and about tsunami, and also, but now if you look at now, even today Sri Lanka is affected by another type of natural disaster, hurricane and flooding. So still we have challenges. However, we have learned some lessons and some experience, so that can be contributed among other countries South Asia, and also now we are more ready compared to previous ways to share knowledge from other countries. Okay, so now I'll talk about South Asia as a disaster vulnerable region. I'm sure you have already seen a lot of maps in the morning, but I'm going to show some of the maps. Please bear with that. Now, first of all, now when we talk about South Asia, we are proud of some dimensions of South Asia. It's the most diversified region in the world with Himalayan mountains, rivers, monsoon, Indian Ocean. So now when it comes to tourism, we talk them as positive aspect. But this is the same reason why it's more vulnerable to different types of disasters like earthquakes, floods, and all these forms. And also its population in South Asia combined is more than population of China. So it means it also can be a strength. But then if you look at how the population has grown, it has resulted in unplanned urbanization, high population density in some regions, poor planned mega cities, and very vulnerable inhabitation. So also South Asia is a region of high poverty. That means if there is a destruction, recovery is very difficult, and people like to affected than in a better developed region. Also, South Asia is known for low human development indicators, especially low literacy and access to maybe equipment. So therefore, educating, warning, preventing is a little bit challenged than country with access to different technologies and literacy. So these are the, in terms of frequency or reported events, flood is the main issue in South Asia, but also cyclones, landslides, and earthquakes are the main types of disasters. Now, when you look at last 50 years, what has happened, the column shows the number of deaths, and the line shows number of events. So you see, events are increasingly, exponentially increasing, whereas deaths during 70s, there's a hurricane in Bangladesh, so that is why higher. But again, if you look at it as a function, it's also number of deaths also increasing. And this shows line here is number of events again, it's increasing. The columns are economic loss. You see over the period of time, loss is increasing all over South Asia. This disaster metric shows how each country is affected by different types of disasters. The conclusion is actually all countries are affected by multiple natural disasters. Some countries affect more, for example, India, Bangladesh, Pakistan have almost all types of disasters other than volcanoes. Now, these are the earthquakes happened in 20th century. And you see this belt in the mountain belt are more prone to earthquakes. And flood, you see also again the highlighted color is high risk areas. Again, some regions are more prone than other regions. Droughts, almost everywhere you see droughts in some other time, where some regions are more prone to droughts than other regions. But all South Asia are affected by the droughts. And landslides again, Himalayan mountain area is more prone to landslides. And this is cyclones, for obvious reasons, this coastal area here, as well as here are more cyclone risky areas. Now, there's a discussion about climate change. There have been some kind of studies and modeling done on how climate change will impact mortality of these different natural disasters. All countries are multiple will be affected. Most climate change in Afghanistan and Bangladesh, India will be the impact of these existing natural disasters will be higher in terms of climate change. So what are the main observations? South Asia is a highly vulnerable region to different types of natural disasters. All countries are, to some extent, in different forms, are vulnerable. And magnitude and types of these disasters are changing over time. So when you say, I said when Sri Lanka was seen as a comparatively safer country, but not anymore. So these are also changing. And now one example is very clear thing we have to emphasize that these disasters are not nationally boundary respective. So most of these disasters are, as we have seen, tsunami and other earthquakes, are beyond national boundaries. Okay, how I am doing in the time? 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wrap it up.
Okay, so now we'll talk about why we should cooperate and collaborate as countries in South Asia and how. Now, why I will not explain actually what are the obstacles of collaboration, because these are obvious reasons, but maybe we can discuss that also during the discussion time. Now, as I told you, normally natural disasters are dealt as national in a national way, national institution, but they are by definition, a lot of them are by definition or by the impact are not national but more regional. And also a lot of countries in South Asia, even a country like India, they have, every country in South Asia have problems in a high scale disaster to deal with them as single countries. So therefore, especially countries like Sri Lanka, Nepal, Maldives are really having issues in terms of expertise, in terms of institution, in terms of people. So, and also when I say countries have expertise, but at the same time some countries in the region have more expertise than other countries for share. For example, flood control system managed in Bangladesh is but they have world-class experience, so that can be shared. Same with Indian earthquake, Pakistan earthquake knowledge. And also, the main important thing is now when you talk about cooperation in the region, when you want to talk regional cooperation, economic, trade, or tourism, or even nuclear, those areas are politically more sensitive because there can be like national losers in terms of regional arrangement. But natural disasters are more politically sensitive to cooperation. So therefore, one area for cooperation in South Asian countries, I would say disasters compared to economic cooperation, for example. So how to cooperate? Now, I will not theoretically explain how to cooperate. I had a very nice experience recently to attend a US South Asia leadership lead engagement program at Harvard Kennedy School. It's a very interesting program because It was, of course, co-sponsored by NESA Center. Professor will also maybe contribute later about his experience there. But the main important point was we had about 40 senior government, military, diplomatic experts in from South Asia on disaster management took part in the program, except Bhutan, and also there were experts from US also. So it was not a traditional like classroom lecture method program where people were kind of forced to sit together and do some simulation and come with solutions. Particularly, the important thing is finally people were kind of asked to collaborate and make recommendations to take to their own countries and influence and educate their country policymakers. So that was an interesting experience because at the beginning I actually didn't have much hopes about collaboration because people were kind of fighting about why, let's say, for example, Pakistanis were fighting against Indians, Indians were fighting Sri Lankan. So that kind of default thinking at the beginning, but later you realize unbelievably people start collaborating and agreeing on recommendations. So I'm going to show some of these recommendations as way of collaboration. So that was a very good example of how we could collaborate that can be expanded as a model. This is one scene from there. Now, under observation, we listed different problems or constraints we have why we cannot collaborate or what are the restrictions what we have at the moment. However, there are general recommendations, national and regionally. Now, if you look at this, important thing is we have something called SARC Disaster Management Center as a part of SARC institutional arrangement. So a lot of people were, even though everybody agreed that it has not done like a serious work up now, a lot of people were emphasizing that that should be the main regional body to be empowered to do the regional work in disaster management. And then there were recommendations made to SARC, particularly about how to get all the political will and consent from political and policy leaders. Okay, and also this is also important now. We also recommended how extra players like US, can be UN or EU or Japan, any regional player from outside South Asia, they also can help in regional cooperation as well as they can, they should come and contribute with their expertise. Finally, I want to say that South Asia is a highly vulnerable region for disasters. But however, South Asian countries, individual countries have expertise and experience of dealing with disaster, managing disaster, be resilient in disasters. And regional cooperation in South Asia is difficult because of other reasons, but we have seen, but if you cooperate, it is obvious that countries are beneficiaries. Therefore, there are reasons to cooperate. And regional cooperation is happening already. We have seen in the tsunami, in the Pakistan earthquake, in other disasters. But then there should be more work, more and strategic work to be done in this area of cooperation. And also external players should and take part in regional cooperation and enhancing South Asian regional cooperation in disaster management.